Habibi.
Hey.
Wow. My brother Berge.
What's up, bro?
Habibi. Welcome to Drops of Gold.
Thanks for having me.
Wow. What were we just enchanted by? Because this is one of your 150.
Yeah, that's a really special one. It's actually a hybrid instrument between an Afghani robab and like a Persian kind of tar. So it's actually handcrafted by these two really amazing luthiers in Iran called the Mohammadi brothers, and they make like concert level instruments. And say, I'm not worthy of this one actually, very much so. This is like these instruments are for people who like dedicate their lives to one instrument. So for me to just have that and just doodle around with it is pretty much an honor. It's a living, breathing thing, and it's very intimidating. And I'm still getting to know her quite a bit over the last 3 years.
We felt it. You know, by the way, you're going to find like this is very much of a no plan. We're just going to kind of like flow and go and drop the gold and do all the things in between. But you know what I love about your love of instrumentation is you have 150 beautiful classic instruments such as this that you've acquired through your travels. And I imagine each one has its own story and etymology. This one, I love that you brought this one because it's got nature, it's got animal, it's got this reverb to it.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you describe like that sound? It's so extraordinary.
So this instrument actually, it's like it's a very unique instrument. It's like for the Afghanis, as far as I know, this is like it's not like a royalty type of instrument. Like there's a lot of kinds of instruments, like especially with the lutes in a lot of countries that it's like reserved for royalty kind of thing by like how unique the sound is. But this actually like sheep herders and just like regular like everyday like handyman farm people like they have this out. The Afghani version actually it's much more like curved in. The sound is very similar, but the tuning for this one. The Afghani version is fretless. So the Persian tar has its basically it's like Arabic tuning on this one. It's not like a traditional guitar. The merging of like the animal skin with the specific kind of wood that they use, and like wood is like the resonance. You know, anytime like an acoustic guitar you hear, it's like the wood that you use is like a huge factor in what's going to resonate. And when you've got like something living like animal skin, every change in the weather, a little hotter, a little colder, it's going to affect the tightness of that skin, and so you're going to get a different kind of different flavor, different timbre out of it every time. And especially with this one, it's just like such a hybrid instrument in itself. Every time I play this, I hear something different, and those kinds of reverb sounds you're hearing is like these 13 sympathetic strings that are lined at the back, similar to how a sitar would work. So if you were to play like a C note, for instance, on one of the main nylon strings, you'd have the third above and the fifth above all resonating at that same tone. So it creates like this haunting like resonance behind the main note, and it just like really creates this vibe. So if you would imagine being out in the middle of the hills, like, you know, with your sheep all gathered and grazing on the fields, like you have like a couple hours just sit at the top of the mountain and just play this with that haunting resonance kind of permeating through the air, just like, you know, and it's like, you know, find like holy people, you know, like they connect to God with frequency. So you can feel that.
That's actually a perfect zoom out, zoom in, zoom infinite, because you connect with God with your frequency in terms of what you put out. And when you talk about being a hybrid instrument, that's the way I view you. And it's such an honor. You know, when I started Drops of Gold, and I thought about the people in my life who've touched my soul and who've inspired me, maybe in ways that they didn't realize. You were one of the ones that came to mind. And as I woke up this morning, I started writing some notes. And I'm like, man, how am I going to introduce this guy who's had such a hybrid, you know, theologian, music producer, guide, brother, along my journey in so many different ways.
Yeah, I mean, you've been there from the beginning, so you would know. You would know.
Yeah. Oh, geez. And we'll get into the story of how we connected. But so I started writing notes, and as it were, it kind of started coming together with a little flowetry.
Okay.
So
you were always better at that than me.
No. So this is what popped. This is what popped when I woke up this morning. In the rhythm of the night where golden frequencies flow, there dances a bearded spirit, firing hearts aglow. Berge Habibi, a human we hold dear, a maestro of joy, spreading love far and near. From classical Bach notes to Dylan's rock to electric charm, blended global beats that hold us in warm arms. This man gathers the sounds from lands far and wide, creating a symphony where cultures deliciously collide. A DJ, a producer, an energy mover, a creator of moments that make hearts smoother. With instruments plenty, over 150 in store, each tells a story, each opens a portal. In partnership with Sabo, a friendship so rare, they blend their talents with infinite care. From Burning Man's dust to Tulum's golden sands, their music weaves magic that transcends all lands and weaves together all man. Goldcap, the name, a beacon of light. In the darkest of nights, he brings pure delight. A container of love, a fashion icon so free, giving zero fucks, yet caring infinitely. He looks to Serge Tonkian, a hero, a guide, in the quest for artistry where passions reside. With honesty and music, his ethos so clear, he crafts tunes from the soul, sincere and dear. In his oversized black t-shirt with a golden thread, he prayer forms, his signature look grows widespread. On a personal note, after a full century of life where my expression was choked, New Year's Day, 2016, Habibi inspired me to say, fuck it, go on my no-plan plan. So I went on my golden thread journey where dreams weave and expand. So here's to Berge, our limitless gold cap so bright. May his golden vibes continue to ignite. A journey of love, play, and golden frequency, a celebration of life in perfect harmony. Welcome to Drops of Gold.
You get that? Do you mind if I sample that?
Yeah,
I think that's going to be the intro for every podcast from now. But the Goldcast is coming back because of you.
God, let's bring it back.
Yeah, it is. You always had a way with words, man.
Oh, brother.
I press the play button. That's my happy zone. See, you weave it, and then I'll press the play button. That's my magic.
I'm here for it all. But the interesting thing is, like, I think about the moments beyond. Kierkegaard beautifully said, like, if you name me, you negate me. Right, and this notion around, like, sure, you're this, it's a yes and so even like I was reading, and I want to unpack this because on your bio you write, I'm a local but a foreigner, still the addict yet I'm sober, still the body with a corner, many friends yet still a loner.
So you like that one?
I love it.
I did not write that one.
I understand it, but you chose it.
Yeah.
And so let's unpack it, because each one of those is something that speaks to this hybrid, like, you try to put me in a box. Well, you know what? I don't see life through a box lens. And I think that is, there's something in there that is so profoundly, so fucking poignantly you, in terms of the way you explode our minds into fractals and put it back together with our hearts that choose to find their highest vibrational truth.
Wow. I've never heard that before, man.
I'm just speaking what every single person has experienced and will experience the next set, that they're like, yeah, that's exactly what's going on.
No, you would know. I mean, like, people who would spend like time with me, because I'm normally very like kind of like shy person, but like once like people get into me, I'm like, I do recognize, like, I have this like dualistic and also very like what's just like I kind of like an asshole, because like you'll have a point of view, and even if I agree with that point of view, I will just make it like my mission that night to take the opposite perspective and just try to convince you to see it from the other end, even if I don't really agree with it from the other end. Right. So always something like, I like having those conversations with people, just like real like debate. It's like I grew up just that way, so it's like this life's like a game. Like, why not experience like all sides of everything, So that quote, actually, like, I do want to give it its dues, since like you did like pretty much nail like how I always felt about it. That's a quote that's been like in my ears since I was about 12 or 13 years old. It's from this really great band that's not very well known called Dredge. And it's a really, really amazing bands. People should check them out. They never got their like real moment in the light. But yeah, I mean that quote basically talks about just somebody who has experienced all aspects or just the duality of life, and it's just like is on the other side of it, and recognizes that like you can't really say I'm this or that having experienced both. So where am I now? I'm here. It's just like it's just like takes me back to like another like a Taoist moral that kind of like guided my whole life. It's like always picked me up out of the darkness. It's like the moral of the Chinese farmer. You'd be probably familiar with it.
Oh, tell me.
So the quick version is basically like there's like once was a Chinese farmer, and he had a prized horse, right? And like one day the horse runs away, and all the neighbors like gather around and just start telling him, it's like, oh my God, it's such a bummer, you know, like it's really bad news. And the farmer seemed pretty like unfazed. He's like, maybe. It's like all the neighbors like kind of confused, like, oh, clearly this is a bad thing. So this guy must be nuts. They go back home. The next day, turns out the horse comes back and brings like a dozen feral horses with it. So, you know, neighbors come back around. It's like, oh my God, like what a great stroke of luck you had. This is amazing for you. Maybe. Again, what's wrong with this guy? This is clearly an amazing thing that happened to him. So his kid's breaking one of the horses, and the next day gets thrown off, breaks his leg. So neighbors come back around again. Oh my God, so sorry to hear your kid broke his leg. This is horrible. Maybe. And so the next day, the military is coming to town. They're going to war. We're conscribing every able-bodied young man. Well, your son's got a broken leg. We can't take him. Move along. And this goes on and on and on and on and on. And the idea is like to be in the state of mind of the Chinese farmer is to understand that what we perceive as like good and bad, like it's just a concept of the mind. It's just a construct because there's like these consequences and like repercussions and butterfly effects for it's like we're not perceiving things like for what they will be. Like you can have a really amazing moment happen to you tomorrow. Like all your dreams could come true tomorrow. But do you know what the consequence of those dreams coming true tomorrow will lead to? Probably a very bad thing. Maybe your worst nightmare, in fact. And there's no way to really tell. And maybe the worst thing you could ever imagine that happens to you tomorrow will be the catalyst for you to be the strongest version of yourself and be the happiest version of yourself in the end. So it's kind of like that idea of just like when you're experiencing all aspects of life and not taking it like personally, if you could just like live in that flow, it's like good things, bad things, things are happening. You're just experiencing life, right? Everything's happening all at once and we can't control anything. We act like we can't. But that mindset of like to be in the Chinese farmers is like that's what like the idea of Zen would be, right? Just present, not worried about what just happened, how's that's gonna happen, well, like what's gonna happen. Just be in that moment. You feel pain, feel pain. You know, you're happy, feel happy because nothing's gonna last. Other shoe's gonna fucking turn, you know. So just we're all riding this freaking cosmic wave. Just like enjoy it while you can, even like the difficult times. So it's like that story has like guided me through a lot of like really, really tough times in my life. And so anytime like I'm in my worst, I'm just kind of like this is going to lead to a good. I just have to wait it out.
When was the last time you had that moment? I know you had a moment last. I know you had a moment last year. It's when you were following with sickness. But when was the last time you felt like that version of like getting to check yourself and say like come back into gratitude and from that perspective?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of hard for me to pinpoint. Like, I mean, there are major events that make me more aware of things, like like very, very close, like deaths or just something like taking you by surprise, something like unplanned, kind of just like a monkey wrench being thrown into your plans, shakes everything up, and just like, oh man, I didn't foresee this. How do I deal with this? And it reminds you, like, you think you're in control, you're absolutely not. But the thing about it is like I'm like very like an emotional person like my whole life, so like I take everything very, very deeply. Like even when it happens to friends of mine, like I'll feel like very like heavy for them and carry it with me. It's like, so I'm always in this state of like, oh man, what the hell is going on? And then like, oh my God, everything's so amazing. Like it's just really crazy dynamic pulls, like shifts left and right. Well, I probably can't focus and like finish as much music as I'd like to, because one day I'll start a song that's like super like good vibes, and then the next day I just want to make techno or death metal, And so, But I'm just experiencing. I'm just trying to like be truthful to myself and like not have those expectations.
I love what
guess
you said. Like Ram Dass, famously said, "Come back to your center, and then you can move in any direction." And that's what I'm receiving from you. Is like you're like, okay, self-awareness is the key thing. Come back, let go of the dual, good, bad. But what have you steal from, either from your own personal experience, mentors from you, philosophers you enjoy? What tools and techniques do you use to actually flip back to that when we get knocked off our center?
Well, I think everybody's just as capable as what they're like equipped with in that moment. Like a 5-year-old wouldn't understand how to handle a complex emotion at that age, but like, give him a couple of years, give him a couple of books, he might be better equipped. And that's as true a statement for a 40-year-old as it is for a 5-year-old. So for me, it's always been like knowledge. Absorb as much as you can. So it's like me, my one of my big fascinations, like growing up, like little like side interests, like astrophysics and cosmology and psychology. Like I'm always like Freud and Jung and like Nietzsche. Like I just love like getting an idea of like, see, like we think we're like just one thing. Like, yeah, I'm me. Are you? But there's like that ego. There's that little part of you, that the little child, that id, that's saying like, ooh, I want that. But then your ego goes, no, you can't just have that. You look like an idiot. Stop what you're doing. You're making us look like a fool. And it's like, oh, you check yourself. It's like there's this whole complex game happening inside of ourselves all the time. And like the more aware you are of that, the more you kind of like, you could just see it like a game. This is like a little game happening in your mind all the time. It's like, are you giving into your fear? Are you giving into your traumas? Are you giving into your, insecurities? Or are you just being like too blatantly like narcissistic and just like entitled? And so when you start understanding like how the mind works, how past experiences affect who you are and how you show up and what you're comfortable doing and not doing, you really start seeing everybody as like this collage, like this stitch piece of all these little things that happen to them in their lives. It's like, you are unique. Like there are no two same people because, there's a whole complex thing happening in your mind and I'll never know. It's like in like psychology, there's like this thing, like people are like islands in this world. It's like an island can see another island, but you're never going to be able to walk on that same sand. No matter how close you are, like you'd be with somebody like married in love, 60 years, die in each other's arms. There's inside two completely different people in there still. Yeah. Who'll just never know what it is to be the other. And I think that's the whole fun of like just being you and just embracing that, with all the faults, because nobody's perfect and like don't let the social media fool you. Nobody's got that perfect life that they put out there. Everyone's a dumpster fire and we're all trying to piece it together, but in a very beautiful and like, sometimes charming way.
Well, I love that. It's like that. The universe gifted me an expression, which is you're a miracle, and miracles are messy. Give yourself self permission to make a fucking mess. Like it's okay, and let go of the just let go of the self incrimination, and I can raise my hand. It took me 50 years to do that. It took me 50 years to even get on the journey of allowing myself, and that's actually where we met. I mean, we met in not just like during that season, but literally like during the week. And I don't know if you realize that.
No, I didn't know where you were as a person, like leading up to that moment. I was just like, where you were though in that moment was very much in resonance with where I was. So maybe that's all that matters.
Where you were and where you perceived me to be in that moment. And by the way, we're talking about
you let
New
him know.
Year's.
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
that?
You let him know.
No,
you're the one with words. You're gonna explain it much better than me.
No. I want you to.
I'll chime in on what it meant to me.
we're gonna start there because we're gonna follow the thread of where you were. Where were you in that moment? This is New Year's 2016.
Yeah.
In Tulum at the first Habitats at Nomade.
Yeah.
Shout out to
beautiful
Bardo
day.
Cafe.
Yeah. Beautiful. Best place ever.
Best
Second
place
home.
Ever. Yeah.
Magic. Yeah. It's like beautiful, gorgeous, sunny day. Beach, nice breeze. And we're just sitting at a table having lunch and bouncing ideas off each other. I'm very uncomfortable with chit chat. Like I honestly, like I feel more alone in a room filled with people talking chit chat than I am by myself, like for 7 hours a night, which is what I grew up doing.
Right.
Like I would just like sneak down and just like be by myself every night for like 6 hours, just like not say a word, find more like peace there. Because when I'm with somebody who's actually talking real stuff, I'm engaged. I light up. So when I see someone like you come to me with these like very like and openly like discussing like these deep concepts and ideas that you have, these like visions and like how can I implement this and bring this to the world, I'm with you. That's it. Like you're like my fucking best friend and brother in that moment, because I'm like, yes, this is what I crave, you know. And it's like if you were just like, yeah, so you know that party was really cool last night. It's like, yeah, cool, man. And I was, so
yeah,
that's where I was. That's where I was, and that's like where I perceived like you came at me in a way. It's like in a very selfish way. I was like fucking feeding off. Like yes, deep conversation. I love it.
Yeah, well, I was in a dark night of the soul, because I was hadn't broken through to giving myself permission to lean in, claim my voice, follow this crazy dream that I had, which is that I had finally discovered after half a century, truly, that we are all golden inside, including myself. And that I wanted to go on a social experiment and spread that thread. And I had this vision around one golden thread connecting us all. I just couldn't, the dream, there's an expression which is like when a dream keeps coming back, it's no longer a dream, it's a calling. And I just had this calling, and yet I was so fearful. I was so fearful. And ironically enough, the night before New Year's Eve, 2015, we're at Nomade, and if you remember, every plate had a little note card on it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Every dinner plate, yeah.
And I turn over my note card, and it said, "Are you prepared to receive that you can go further than you've ever imagined?" And that got my heart moving and what have you. And New Year's night was this incredible party, and it was just it was on the beach, and there was multiple nodes and pods and beautiful things were happening. And I just kept going off and being alone. And I spent the entire night walking the beach alone, because I was literally like, am I going to walk away from a company that I was a 50% co-owner of, that was safe and I was comfortable, and follow this no plan and this crazy dream to get a satchel of golden threads, and I'd share this manifesto that I'd written with you, which was all like
it was just a manifesto then.
That was it.
Yeah, it was a concept.
It was a concept.
It was a beautiful concept.
It was a beautiful concept. And
yeah, it's like the way I remember it, you just like tapped into this just like very real, but like very eloquently put, basically paying forward like inspiration and like recognizing what it is. So it's like if I was to inspire you with a set that I did, like you inspire somebody with what, like if you were like a cook, right? Like you say, oh my God, that makes me think of an idea for this dish. And then like somebody feeds that person that dish, and that gives that person an idea to go do this. And like, so like the way you laid it out for me was like this golden thread is like that honest and beautiful inspiration, like that thread that weaves between everybody, like just wanting to like acknowledge it's like, it's not coming from us, right? Like everybody is like just taking what they've been given and just pushing it forward, like advancing this narrative. So that one golden thread idea, just the concept alone, when you were throwing it at me, I was like, it's so well like thought out. It's just like, it's this truth I think everybody realizes, I would hope at least, but the way you laid it out was like very, very like, it was very like boiled down. You cut all the fat off of it. It was very lean, and it's a great concept. You could have gone like in a million different directions with that. So
there's crucible moments that happen in all of our lives, and the crucible moment that happened as it relates to this was I was coming back to where everybody was convening at sunrise and on New Year's Day. And I was coming back from walking along the beach alone all night long, just, and what am I going to do? What am I going to, and it's New Year's Day, and it's sun, and yet it's raining.
This is the electrocution set. This is the electrocution set.
Electrocution set.
We got electrocuted for 4 hours playing that set.
And I'm walking up, and I'm going to remind you, and we'll be playing this for everybody.
Well, you got something? No way. You got a video of that? Holy shit. Yeah, so that's me and Eduardo Castillo under an umbrella and under a white tarp. The cables were not grounded because we were in the first season of Tulum, Mexico. We were getting electrocuted every time we touched the button. Every time we touched the button. Best day of our lives.
And I'm listening. Well, first of all, I'm seeing such joy. Eduardo, you can't even see me underneath the tarp, and he's getting electrocuted.
We were in excruciating pain, but with smiles.
And I'm hearing this song that I've never heard before, and it's
that's the House Martins, Caravan of Love.
Caravan of Love,
beautiful song.
And it's about everybody take a stand. Come on, stand up for your brothers and your sisters. It's time to take a stand. Caravan of Love, and in that moment, that's when it popped, and I'm like, I got complete chills. The parasols are flowing, and that's when I said, one golden thread is going to be born in this world.
That was literally the manifestation of the concept. And in reality, that song pushed you over the edge to now do what you're doing now.
It opened the portal.
Yeah. So, like, your concept was put into action. We threw it at the wall and it stuck.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
Basically.
So
I added a lot of excruciating pain at our expense, mind you. You're welcome.
I love the fact that it's called the electrocution set.
Dude, it was hilarious. Like, we were just getting shocked left and right. Someone's like, no, we grounded the cables now. It's like, okay, cool. Oh, fuck. And like one of my friends, she leaned against the monitor, like the speaker of the monitor. She just like leaned up against it. She got shocked so bad. Tears just started pouring out of her immediately. We're like, oh my God, should we stop this? I'm like, no, let's keep going. And we're safe. We're in Mexico. Nothing could go wrong.
And after the electrocution set, that's when we sat down at breakfast and I started sharing with you deeper about the mission and what it was about, and it was just such a blessing. And actually, I also pulled, because it's just so great, I pulled just a couple kids.
Wow! Oh my God! When I had hair. Wow, I had hair. Once upon a time.
Just a couple kids.
Just
a couple kids.
Babies.
Yeah, so...
Well, I still see two babies here.
I still do.
It's funny, isn't it? Like, you look back and you're like, oh my God, what kids they were. Hey, well, tomorrow you'll look back at yourself today. Fucking children.
I still do. So thank you.
Dude, thank you.
Genuinely.
Thank you, man.
And full circle, I just love the way we've continued to support each other. Thank you for, full circle. We'll get to where we just were just before the podcast. But I want to go back because it's just so extraordinary. I remember when we sat in Tulum, and one of the questions I asked you at that time is, where do you get your inspiration for your music? And I'll never forget what you said.
I have. Tell me.
Well, obviously you get it from everywhere and everything, but it really struck me when you said that one of the places that you get your inspiration is from your parents' wartime Armenian, wartime vinyl.
Yeah. It's not to like. Like so the music itself, like the Armenian music that developed post genocide of 1915, is very somber and sad and heavy music. And so I'm not like, I don't want to like, I like to be like, it's not like that's giving me the inspiration. But what it was like, I think actually most people can relate to this experience growing up. Like, no matter how cool your parents actually are, no matter what they're into,
yeah.
When you break into puberty, like, whatever they like is shit. Like, you just have to rebel against it, I feel like. Like, your parents can be the coolest goddamn music in the world and the coolest, like, clothing in the world, and you will literally go the opposite direction just because. I don't know. Like, that's, like, the rebellious spirit, I think, in youth. But, so, me having that was always, like, I grew up listening to, like... So, like, my parents' families, like my great-grandparents, after the genocide from Armenia, they fled to Iraq. So my parents and my grandparents grew up in Iraq, like they're Iraqi-Armenian. They came to America, and I'm having like this experience of like a first-generation American with Iraqi-Armenian parents, and I'm growing up and listening to Armenian music and Arabic music, and like at nights it was like, you know, the black and white TV at my grandpa's house, getting the live feed from Iraq with like the old plays with the music, and like Kulthum at night, and Feiruz in the morning, and like you come into your youth and you're like, I don't like any of this stuff. Give me rock and roll. I want rock and roll. I want rap. I want different. And as I matured, like even my dad was like a huge fan of the Doors. Huge fan of the Doors. At the time, it's the same song on the radio. You always play the same song on the radio, a Sade or something like this. When I started coming to my own, like really graduating beyond like the rebellious stage of like 12, 13, 14, 15, and started like opening my mind and experimenting and going outside and allowing the frequencies to come in unbiased, I found myself actually falling in love with everything I was trying so hard to rebel against. So like I came back to like, oh my God, the Doors are like my favorite goddamn band now. Yeah, like the fucking, it's incredible like how much I resisted something that I'm like, this is like my favorite fucking band in the world now. And like I came back to Armenian music and Arabic music. It's like, Jesus Christ, this is fucking incredible. Like what the hell was I listening to? Not that it was bad what I was listening to, but like what was I denying myself of? And so the inspiration that I told you I drew from like that music was just like, it's like this message is this like, there is something everywhere. The only thing that stopped me from recognizing it then was my own goddamn ego. My own sense of self, not recognizing that there's that battle happening in my mind that's preventing me from having that earlier on. But I mean, that's a process I think that everybody has, right? Like just like revisit something, like a dish that you hated growing up. It's like my comfort food now.
Right.
Like okra. I fucking hated okra. Now it's like, dude, I'm on the road. I'm away from home for like 2 months. I will find, is there an Iraqi restaurant somewhere in this fucking town that I could get some okra? And it's just like, when you recognize that, you find like there's like a humor in that. There's like this cosmic giggle in that. It's like, aha, gotcha, bitch. You thought you knew. You didn't. So yeah, my inspiration is there. Like, never think you know everything. Like, it's just going to change tomorrow. So whatever you think you know now, just make the most of it and keep absorbing information. Keep your mind open. It's like it's philosophy in life. That's why I'm such a contrarian. People find it a bit off-putting sometimes.
Why? Because you're willing to shift and pivot?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm always like shifting and pivoting. Sometimes people are like, just like, I don't need this right now, because they know I'm just doing it to pull their leg. You know, they know I'm like on their side of this like topic. It's like, well, what if this? Well, did you ever consider what it would be like to be in that person's mind? Like, just please stop. I know what you're doing. So, but I don't know, that engages me, and it's like at the end of the day, it's like if it helps somebody else get perspective, you know, win-win.
Well, what do you receive without somebody needing to tell you that people are receiving from your music? Because, you know, and you could even instead of put yourself in your shoes, I would maybe ask it this question: we all know what you do, but why do you do what you do?
Well, it's a hard question to answer. If I'm going to answer, if the question is why do you do music, I have no fucking idea. I don't know. Music's just been a part of my life, like since I was a child. Mom took me to piano lessons since I was 4. Hated it. Graduated from that. Wanted a drum set. Couldn't get a drum set. Parents didn't want that noise. They got me an electric guitar instead, which was fucking fantastic because I ended up in a couple jam bands and I got to play drum sets regardless, bass. And I started learning instruments. I just love anything musical you put in front of me. I just want to learn it, play it. And I'm not going to say I'm a great musician. I'm mediocre at best at any instrument you put in front of me. I have not achieved greatness in any one, or I'm not a master at any one instrument, but I know enough to get like sounds out of things, and that's interesting enough for me. Like I don't have aspirations to be like a master in one instrument, but just to fool around, you know. So anything that was put in front of me, I'd attract to. So why am I into music? I don't know, because I was also like always drawing. I was always doing art. I was always into cooking. I was always into writing poetry. I was anything creative, anything like cathartic. It's like, I don't know, it's like this, the emotions are always left and right ripping out my mind. So I just like I pour it out somewhere. Like if it's music, I'll throw in music. If it's like an empty paper there, I'll just start, you know, scribbling. So for me, it's just like just getting, you know, I think like art is just like getting like emotion out. It's not like, hey, I have to make something to sell it so I can live. But there was actually, I remember in like, I was like early high school, we were like asked by the teacher, like, okay, write down what you want to be when you grow up. I actually wrote like, I want to be a starving artist. I thought that was like the most romantic idea ever. That's like being on the streets with like a canvas or a guitar, and just like living off of ketchup packets and like just like art, man, like the fucking art, you know. And there's still part of me to this day. It's just like, yeah, I'm good. Like if like whatever I do is not popular anymore tomorrow, I'm like not gonna stop doing it. I'm just gonna keep doing it until I'm doing it in like the subway station or something. I don't know. But for me, this is like just why I do what I do in this like specific way, like the DJ thing. This is an accidental career. I was never intending to be a DJ in my life, like never. I was always like, bands or something like this, instrumentals. When it's like, you know, a friend came to my house, left some CDJs, something musical. Let me try and try to play around with it. And I started listening to electronic music around then. It's like, you know, I like that one song from this guy's set there. I like that song from that set. So I downloaded Virtual DJ. Like, this is very cheap DJing software, but everyone starts there. And just made like my own little mix. Burned it on a CD when burning CDs was a cool thing.
2009?
This was like 2009, 2010. I got into electronic music very late in the game. I was mid-20s. I actually hated electronic music before then. This is like there was no soul. But then I heard Chemical Brothers. I was like, dude, this is all right. We got some messages here. Let's go. Let's boogie. And so, yeah, I just made like, a mixtape for myself to listen to in the car. It was like, in LA, it's a driving culture. So it's like just, my happy place was always like, even if it's like I'm home with my parents, I'll get in my car, drive down the street, park, just sit in my car, draw, write poetry, listen to music, blast music, you know, like a block away from the house. So it was like the car was our safe space, me and my friends. So I just burned a CD for myself, burned one for my friend. Like 3 months later, we're at some nightclub for John Digweed, amazing night. And two of my friends, like two female friends of mine, that come like storming into like the smoking area of the country. Like, dude, we heard your mix, fucking amazing, like so good. I'm like, how did you get it? Oh yeah, we passed the CD, this is burn. It's like, make another one. Okay, made another one. And then somebody convinced me, like, there's this website called SoundCloud. You should put it on SoundCloud so you don't have to burn CDs anymore. All right, put it on SoundCloud. And I started getting like messages like, hey, do you want to open for this DJ at this club? Hey, do you want to play at this place? And like, hey, do you want to play at my birthday party? I'm sure. And so it just kind of just like happened like this. And it was never my intention to be a DJ, just like something musical to involve myself in. But when I started to understand like this is like, you can't just have a life of like just accident and then pointlessness, right? This is like, what am I trying to do? So after a couple of years of just like learning the craft and just like, you know, earning the stripes, playing horrible fucking birthday parties and like bars was like, you know, like your fee was like 3 free drinks kind of thing. Like what did I want? Right? It's like it wasn't like I didn't want to spend my life in a nightclub where the whole environment was just about like everybody come get drunk and hook up and, you know, be fucking like, you know, careless. It's not how I like, you know, spend my time. I mean, I did a lot of stupid shit, but it was intentional. There was a point to it. There was a great point. I promise there was. I swear there was.
That's amazing.
But like, so it's like, look, what, you know, like I love I just love music. Like unbiased. It's like I'm not like unbiased and like everything's good. There's the majority of the music in the world is shit. The majority of the music in the world today is pretty fucking bad. It's like mind closing. Just like focus on the distractions, like follow, keep pressing the buttons, keep driving to work, kind of get you nowhere like stuff. And you can kind of see like what's going on. Okay, so like when I'm like traveling for shows, like I'll end up all these like exotic countries. I'm so excited to go there. It's gonna be so weird cultural experience. And I get in the cab to go to my hotel. What's on the radio? Same fucking shit that's on the radio in America. And it like dawned on me, like I'm a huge fan of like world music. I was like researching music, like what's happening in Morocco after like the acid revolution. Oh man, that they're doing that kind of stuff. Wow, that's amazing. So what happened? So in China in the 30s they were doing this, and then that instrument came in, and then they started doing this. So I was like just like this amateur, you know, ethnomusicologist. So I was appreciating like amazing music from around the world and what that was back then. Before, you know, you had phonograph and you know. Like, you know, we're spoiled with music that you get Bluetooth speaker. You just, hey, here's my video and here's your music from 5 years ago. It's like, you know, like back then, it's just like if you didn't know how to like whistle or hum or play an instrument, it's like where are you gonna get your music from? Yeah, you could go down to the local like mosque or church or temple where they had tapped into the power of frequency and how to manipulate the mind and making you feel like you're in the presence of God, right? When you're just like some lonely like, you know, farmer who has no idea like why do I feel this way? Oh, that's God. Come in the door.
Yeah.
We'll tell you all about our cult kind of thing. But that's like, it's hard to like receive sound in that way. So like those stories, like all the stories of generations was passed down as oral tradition through music, through songs. That's why like in every culture has got like a million versions of one song, because that song was passed down through generations and everyone has to do a version of it. It's like an homage to our culture, right? So that song was passed down, and like great grandma taught it to grandma, grandma taught it to mom, mom's trying to teach it to you, but you are stuck listening to the same mindless bullshit on the radio that's happening over there that has nothing to do with you. Like you can listen to it, but I mean, are you embracing your culture? Is that song and that story going to die with you? To me, that's like burning books. Like that's knowledge being lost. It's like sacred knowledge being lost. So my intention always was to get them in their most vulnerable places. Like these young kids like, want to go out and party and get drunk and hook up. And all this, but there could be more to that, right? Like they could walk into a nightclub and they're hearing that beat and it's making them move. Like, yeah, this is a nightclub. We're dancing. But like, what's the stuff on top of it? Like, yeah, this is like some really cool, like it's Ethiopian jazz from the 60s. It's like called Mulatto Asatke. It's like somebody will know, like, oh yeah, that's Mulatto Asatke. Oh wow, I want to go research that when I get home. So it's like what I'm doing kind of inspires people to just like go and start branching out into different kind of, you know, cultures and different kind of music, and even embrace their own culture's music. You know, maybe they hadn't. Maybe somebody's of, I don't know, like, you know, I don't know, you name it, like German descendants, like grew up in America, has no idea what like their cultural music is like. Go research it. There might be some really cool stuff, some stuff that you have like a responsibility to pass down, maybe, or just at least appreciate. You know, because it's like it's in your blood. A lot of people like died for it. A lot of people protected those songs like through persecution, which is true. You know, music was also very much, you know, stigmatized and suppressed in a lot of cultures. So there's a responsibility, I feel like. And just like if I could get a couple people to just be like, oh, wow, I've never thought like Icelandic music could be so cool. And it's like, great, good, go home and research it. So that's always been my intention, just to like, come here, be vulnerable, and I'm going to show you some stuff that you didn't think you were going to hear. Maybe you'd like it.
It's really extraordinary. And thank you for distilling that, because that's resonant. And there are, I know there's a band of brothers that you would look to that are weaving this legacy, this lineage.
I couldn't do it without them. I swear to God. I swear to God, like this. Oh man, my people.
But this notion around like you're paying homage to the power and the potency of a global thread of music that is about not dumbing the mind, but it's about actually lifting and gifting and bringing us deeper into our own souls. And I think that music is what colors the world golden, and so that's one of the things that you just so beautifully do, and the world thanks you for. And anybody that you know is going to be listening to this, driving into Burning Man and going and dropping into one of your sets, and they leave them feeling a deeper connection with themselves, deeper connection with their others that they're with, and also just a deeper connection to other cultures. I think that's really such an extraordinary mission that you don't even need to talk about it because you're just doing it. And I really have a deep resonance of that's my experience. It's very, very cool to be introduced to. You don't need to travel to other cultures to feel that deep connection that comes from music.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like people's like, oh, well, I don't understand what they're talking about. Well, I mean, if you really care enough to know exactly what they're talking about, go on and look at the lyrics. I mean, we're in the age of technology. Like you can pull up like translation for lyrics all the time, but I didn't even need to resort to that most of the time. Just like the music itself, like whatever language it was in, you feel the vibrations. You feel like someone who doesn't speak English who heard Bob Marley for the first time. Yeah. You don't need to tell them that this guy's not a Satanist. You know what I mean? Like, so this guy's spreading good vibes. Yeah, you feel those good vibes. That's all that matters, man. That's
so
all that matters.
Speaking of good vibes, I want to play like a clip of one of your sets that I don't know what it is about this clip, but it will take me if I'm in a lower vibration state. I literally want to throw my arms up and just jump and dance. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know.
That's the magic trick. I
don't know what they're saying. Trick. I don't know what it is. But I'm going to play this. And
that's the great magic trick.
It is.
That's what it is. that's what music is like. It's the tether between like the secular and spiritual realms. We don't know why certain vibrations can just completely change our mood like that. This is something close to like spiritual. It's insane. Yeah, Moroccan. This is Moroccan right here. Yeah, Nasir Al-Ghawan. Nasir Al-Ghawan. Yeah. So this is not a remix. This is not an edit. It's like just like I'm looping a beat and playing the original version of a song. It's like the 1970s Moroccan psychedelic. This style is called Jil. Very, very like experimental back then. There's a group called Nasir Al-Ghawan. Really, really amazing stuff. Yeah, but you feel that vibe, just play the original song and put a beat behind it. Now we're in a nightclub. See the difference of being in the desert and being in a nightclub? Just throw a beat behind it. At least that was my mentality before people were making music like this. Like back then, like nobody was making music like this, so I had to resort to playing the originals with like the beats looped behind it. But now everyone's making music with the cultural music fused into it, so it's kind of like it's much easier, but still want to like challenge myself a bit. So keep looking for all that music too. Yeah, so it's a great song.
What are the words?
I did nothing. I just put a beat behind it. Oh, I don't know.
Oh, you don't know.
That's the point. That's the point.
It's
if I knew the words to I would be fluent in like 60 languages at this point, but I'm not going to attempt that. But you feel do you need to know the words to get all excited and amped?
I don't.
Exactly. That's the magic, man. That's the magic. He could talk about being a serial killer and you're like, I'm the happiest person in the world. The vibe, man. It's just the vibe. It's the magic trick. It's the great magic trick.
Listening to songs with English lyrics, I oftentimes don't listen to the lyrics.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
So a friend of mine who's a lead singer in a prominent band shared something with me, and it was so fascinating about the way energy works when you're up on a stage. I haven't been up on a stage in this way. And what he said is that when you're behind the mic and you walk out and you throw that energy out to the crowd by whatever you're going to do, whether you're alone, whether you're for your brother or Sabo, and the energy with the crowd comes back to you. And then it just goes back out. And now it's no longer yours or theirs. It's yours as a collective. What does it feel like?
It's intoxicating. It's absolutely fucking intoxicating. So I'll quote like my American queen, Janis Joplin, who was basically laughed at by some like really ridiculous like TV talk show host when she said, it's like same question was asked her, and she's like, well, like, you know how feedback works? Like when you speak too hard into a mic and then like the mic picks it up and then the speakers pick it up and it goes louder and louder. It's like that's kind of how it is with the crowd. Like you put this energy out and they throw it back at you and it comes back and forth and back and forth. It's higher and higher and louder and until it just consumes everything, right? So that is as true of an experience as can. And this is also in the world of like the difference in like, I would say like your friend who's in a band who's like they're going out there and performing songs that they know that they wrote that people connect with already. The difference in like my kind of pocket of the music world is just like people are coming to hear things that they've never heard before. So, and I've never been about like making pre-made sets. So it's like the one advice that I give to all DJs is like, what do you do? Just learn how to go out there and improv sets. It's like it's your job as a DJ. Yeah, it's your job as a DJ to narrate the moment, right? So you're going to go in there with a preconceived notion of what's going to happen in that moment. How arrogant can you be? Like you can have this like vision of like, oh my God, I'm playing the biggest nightclub in the city, so I gotta have this banging set, and you get this banging set all ready, and you get out there and there's only 15 people there. Go ahead and play your banging set. Look what's gonna happen. What the fuck is this guy doing? You gotta just go into the space and just like, okay, I'm gonna play this song. Let me see what energy is thrown back at me. Good, bad, no? Oh, let me try going here now. Oh, they like that, huh? Well, maybe I'll go here. Or maybe I'll throw them a curveball here. And so when it's, I don't know why, but it's like 40 minutes. 40 minutes is like the minimum amount of time a DJ needs to just hit that flow state where it's like they've given you enough time. It's like, okay. And at some point, I don't know how to explain it. Just like you're in their palm and they're in your palm. Yeah. It's like this symbiotic like vibe. It's just like you're just smiling at them. They're smiling at you because everybody knows what's happening right now. It's like what you're doing is just like tugged at their heartstring this way. And then they kind of made that reaction come at you, and you're like, okay, well, now I want to take you here, motherfucker. And it's like, and they follow you, like, what the hell? It's like, and it's freaking intoxicating. Like, the time flies like that. Like, every year for my birthday, I do an 8-hour set with like my good friend Subculture, who's done the most amazing parties in LA. It's like, I'm telling, like, after that 40 minutes, like, this first 40 minutes, I feel every minute of it. But then the next 7.5 is just like, before I know it, the sun's out. And we're like, what the hell just happened? And it's just like, this is only living in that moment, you know? And it's like, it was all stitched together in that moment. And everybody in that room had a hand in curating the music as well, right? But they just don't know that. They think I'm going in there with a pre-made plan. I'm not. Like, they have everything to do with it. Because if half that crowd left, guess what? My music changes now. My music changes to accommodate that size of crowd, that vibe. Oh, half these people are disappointed. Let me play something sad now. You know, so it's fun. It's like, again, like the whole concept of like being in the flow state, like living in the Zen, like being present, right? Like I'm not going to think about tomorrow, yesterday. I don't want to think about what happened last week tonight. It's like, I'm here. Well, what are we going to do? Sometimes you're going to have a good night. Sometimes you have a bad night. This is life, right? And it's like everyone's going to have a good performance. Some on days, some off days. But when you have those on days and it's just happening in the moment and you're just like allowing yourself to just ride that wave, and you know it's not you. Like it's just like, you're not like cocky about it. Like, yes, you are very much a part of it, but it's like you're being pushed. You know, like there's these things like happening all around us, just pushing you. You're drawing inspiration from everything and everyone that's ever been before you, and everything that's happening around you in that moment, right? So it's like, just like honor that, like the weight of what's happening, and like you're getting to experience the most amazing part of it. And this is like gratitude, you know. It's like it's intoxicating, that moment of like just being in that connection state.
It's intoxicating, and yet I feel from day one and in this moment and every set, there's also a joy within the humility that you also possess, and I see that in Sabo, and I see that in others as well. And so I feel like you're doing it for yourselves. It always feels like you're up there enjoying it for yourself.
Totally.
You'd be doing a full.
We are not selfless people. It's all about me. Said Freud.
Said Freud. So let's talk about flow state and brotherhood and partnership. You have this incredible artistic, brotherly, ride or die partnership with Sabo.
Oh yeah, that's my brother from another mother. I was like, I actually do want to give like the props to all the people who are just like involved in like me even being here, because it's like this is not something I created. This is not something I stamped on. There's like this specific style of music, this like little pocket of like this cultural, ethnic combination with dance music, which now they call organic house, which, you know, they threw a poll at us. Nobody was crazy about it, but they chose it anyways. But like when I was kind of like experimenting with throwing like Armenian duduks on top of like a deep house beat, like in 2010, or taking that Moroccan track and like, just let me see what'll happen if I put it on this techno beat. Like, around that same time, you know, and thanks to SoundCloud, Alex, wherever you are, thank you for giving all of us a fucking career, man. Basically, like I got to discover like artists from around the world who are kind of like all synchronistically like exploring with the same things. So like I discovered Oceanus Orientalis, like a brother of mine from Turkey, Shafak, doing amazing stuff in the down-tempo world with like Arabic music, Turkish music, stuff I grew up with. And then I discovered like my Armenian brother, Vikan Arman, in France. And then like fucking my other brother, Loom, in Tulum. And Acid Polly and New in Berlin. And like the Bedouin and B. Svensson and all these guys, just like, whoa. And like we all kind of at one point or another, like we were getting booked at the same events when like there's like a small little bubbling happening of this sound being popular. So we all kind of like, hey, we already basically know each other, right? Like, so we were like communicating online. The first time Shafak ever made it to the United States, I went and picked him up from the airport from LAX myself. And we drove to Habitas together. And guy gets in the car. I'm putting the doors. He's like, man, you like doors? I love the doors. I love doors. You're my brother immediately. That's it. And still my brother. I fucking love Shafak. But like all these guys, it was like there's a really cool pocket in time around that same time. Like we met like 2012, 13, 14, 15, like Burning Man, Tulum, maybe Mykonos towards the end of it, where it was like just like maybe a dozen or so of us who just happened to be at the like forefront of this thing that we never thought would ever have picked up to a place like it did. Like I go into like shopping malls and hear like our music now. This is the weirdest fucking thing ever. Like I'm like, dude, that's so like this track. Like Saba, what the fuck, bro? Like I'm in goddamn like Switzerland, and the fucking cafe is playing souls like this. Like it's mind blowing. None of us knew it back then, right? But like I would not be here like without like with those guys, and this is like to feel like safe and accepted and like encouraged. This is like because he would push the envelope, and I'm like, oh, you can do that. Oh wow, that inspires me to do this now. Same as the Golden Thread, right? It's like I would hear one of them like Acid Polly, like dude. Fucking Acid Polly should be the fucking like Gandalf wizard that pushed all of us out of the Shire. To me, at least. Like the dude did some shit back in the day, and I'm like, you can fucking do that in the DJ set? I'd never in my life seen shit like that before. And like, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been inspired to like, we can do that? Okay, fine, I'll try that too. And then who knows who I did that to, and then who then they did that to, and so. Like it's just like a really beautiful thing, like for me to be like connected with all these guys who at the same time had like the same vision, and then like we kind of helped each other mold what was happening, but still like not conforming to one another, right? Yeah. Like you do that really good, but he does this really good, and they work together, but they're separate, and that was really good. And the cool thing about this is like there's never ever a feeling of competition between us. Never. Not like I'm telling you, like every one of these people that I'm naming, they've all been to my parents' house, slept in the beds in my parents' homes, eaten my mom's cooking, had barbecues together. Like some of my friends like, hey, you want me to put you up in a hotel while I'm setting up the party? No, I'm going to stay with mom and dad. Like really, you just stay with my parents without me? Okay, yeah. It's like that. Like this is like a family. Like we support each other, we care about each other, we message each other, just check in. You know, like how you doing? What's going on in life? Like not music talk, just brother talk, like sister talk. And so that has been like the more unsung like beauty of like this life that I've been like kind of like given to just have like, you know, connections like that. There's really amazing people, artistic people, like people that's the kind of people that like I connect with. And it's like this meeting, like I got like a brother in Los Angeles that I met like recently during COVID, or I would have met during COVID. His name is Danny Shimoon, one of the most talented musicians I've ever fucking met. And it's like might as well he would have been in the crib next to me, you know, growing up. Like that's like how he is for me. So we just talk the same language as music, intoxicating. And so like it's beautiful to like make those connections through this world. There's like these like little perks that come with, you know, just like pursuing creativity. You meet all the weirdos who are also doing the same thing as you know? And kind of like, it's interesting.
It's interesting because, you know,
because you're not the same, right? Like it's the weird part about it. It's like a businessman meeting a businessman. It's kind of like, okay, right. But like this, like the creative types are just like really like sometimes like friction, but in the best way.
Businesses that are competitive and look at it as a zero-sum game. If I can't allow you to win because that means I'm going to lose. That's a patriarchy way that, you know, that's
just like a human way. I think it's just the us and them mentality. It's that us and them mentality. Why humans need a them?
No, we get to let go of that. Even, which I love the fact that that there's this brotherhood that you're speaking to, and there's this joy and this supportiveness. And this collaboration, I love that.
Yeah, it's not like this. It's not like this foo fake. Like hey man, you're cool. It's like there's dark times like we have. Like there's legitimate like dark times each of us have, and like when the others show up, like beyond just like, oh yeah, I know him and he's a musician. I'm like literally like friends, like brothers. Like they show up for one another. Like it's that. It's so I know it's real, you know, and it's something really special there, you know. It's not just
that's like extraordinary, and thank you for calling in, you know, all those brothers.
And so many I'm leaving out. I wish I could just like put them out, but we're all part of something bigger.
And yet you've really locked in to one from a true collaboration perspective. How did that happen? And it's also fascinating when you. For those of us that don't stand behind the table and blow out that energy. It's fascinating that you're freestyling and he's freestyling, and it feels effortless and in flow. And you talk about flow state. Help bring us into that world, because you guys are in this tight space. And by the way, you got usually you've got the jetpack is packed. Like you don't have a lot of room.
Sometimes that energy is like really, it helps.
Does it?
Sometimes it's a little too much. When my hips are getting dug into the table, it's like, all right, maybe now let's put up a rope. But no, it's.
But take us into that flow state, because I think that our listeners would love to like.
I'll say what I told you like about a couple hours ago. It's all documented on a set on SoundCloud.
Yeah,
so
we'll go there.
2014. Big brother of mine who like really opened so many doors for me, like musically, like in this industry, just mentored me, like fucking really gave me opportunities. Like I probably wouldn't be here if it was him. Eduardo Castillo, the name should be known. The guy like literally like just nobody's like put me next to him, like playing his parties, putting me like with like, hey, play Robot Heart, like this is my guy, play Robot Heart. It's like, he like just gave me a call out of nowhere. It's like, hey, we have an extra ticket to Burning Man. Do you want to come? And this was like a week before Burning Man. And I've never been. My whole life, I swear since I was like in high school. This is like 2014.
14.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since I was in high school, people were like, oh, you're a Burning Man. I'm like, nope. But I'm guessing if, people keep saying this, I'm like, must be a pretty cool place. Because I was like, I was throwing desert parties and parties in like the, in the wilderness, like with a couple friends, like long time, like 8 years before I'd ever been to Burning Man. So it was like familiar kind of concept to me, but like not at that scale. So, and I always felt like I'll go when I'm meant to go. It happens every year. Every year people tell me, Burning Man. Okay. So every year I'll go when I'm meant to go. And that year it felt like I was meant to go. I didn't have like the two pennies to rub together at the time though. Everyone was like, okay, I got a ticket for you. I'm like, all right, let's go. And it was him, his wife, another friend of ours, Eduardo Green, Sabo. And so I had seen Sabo perform before at nightclubs, and I knew the music that he like helped pioneer called Moombaton. It's amazing style. I recommend everybody go check it out at least once. It's still so good. So I rock up to this like 40-foot RV in downtown, and I'm like with Eduardo and his then like 7-month pregnant wife, who out-partied all of us, by the way, at Burning Man. It was crazy. And Sabo rocks up in a skateboard, tank top, flip back hat, skateboard, kicks it up like a freaking movie scene. He's like, hey, I'm Sabo. So like, cool, man. What's up? He had no idea who I was. I was just like this up and comer. He was like this established DJing. But he was at this transitional period where like his sound was like changing from like Moombaton to like something else, like some that like the wave was carrying us all into at the time. And we started chit-chatting on the ride up, long drive, just getting to know each other kind of stuff. But we didn't really know each other because it was just chit-chatting, formality, right? Thursday night, I believe it was. No, Friday night. Eduardo was asked to do like a showcase at one of these camps called Panda Lounge. Very cool, like a water world structure, like being held together by like 2x4s. And thought the whole thing was gonna collapse, but it was fucking amazing. So it was like me, and then it was Sabo, and then it was Eduardo and Acid Polly. Just like a freaking dream lineup. I'm like, how the fuck am I at Burning Man about to play with like my heroes like this? This is incredible. And I start playing, and I'm recording the set, right? So like maybe 45 minutes goes by, and like Sabo comes up to me. He's like, bro, I don't know you can play like this. Is fucking awesome, man. We should play back to back sometime. I'm like, dude, plugging right now. Let's fucking play together. Like I'd played back to back with people before. It's like, it's fun. It's like, once you're playing back to back with somebody, it's like, all right, it's not about me. We're just gonna fuck around and have fun, and there's gonna be mistakes, and we're not gonna. Dude, I had never felt chemistry like neither of us. There was like this boom, immediate like what I was playing was different than what he was playing, but the styles were complementary. We didn't have to discuss anything. It was like we both agreed on the one track rule. I cannot stand like back-to-back sets where it's like, no, I play 2 tracks, I play 3 tracks, and you play 3 tracks. No, man, it's like a ping pong match. No, serve me something back. Give me a challenge. And we just fucking click like that. And it's on SoundCloud. It's on my SoundCloud. It's like live at the Panda Lounge. And those are the 2 babies right there getting to know each other. That was the real like handshake there, musically, between he and I. And And yeah, it was just like this interesting period where it's like I was coming up and he was like changing his sound and we just boom right there. And it's like we were bouncing artists off one another. I discovered this guy. I threw it at him. He signed the track. It's the biggest track, you know, on Soul Selector's label now. And just it's like he discovers this thing. He shows me this thing. I find it. I sample it and it turns into this now. It's like instant, just like bing, bang, boom. Like really fucking amazing stuff. And yeah, like we both wanted to pursue like, you know, our solo careers. But we also want to like say that there's something special here. So on that same drive back from Burning Man, like we're talking about, like, yeah, let's release that set. How should we release that set? And I told him, I was like, dude, like maybe like it's not. I don't want to call it like Sabo back to back Goldcaps, the B2B, right? Because I saw B2B everywhere. It's like, oh, that DJ's cool. That DJ's cool. Oh, they're playing at a club. B2B. Oh, these two are just like jamming that night. Oh, they're just jamming that night. Then they're gonna jam with somebody else the other night. Jam with somebody else the other night. I was like, I want to take a page out of like Sasha and Digweed's book. It's like that and changed what it was. Like that's still Sasha and he has his thing. That's still John Digweed, he has his thing. But it wasn't a back-to-back, it was an and. So now you're an entity. Like you're this duo. Still doing your own thing, but there's this project now. So I kind of pitched it to Sabo. He's like, yeah, fucking down with that. And I guess it worked. Cause like we just up and decided, like, yeah, we're just making it special. Like when we play together, it'll be special. You know, like you do your thing, I do my thing, and like we come together and it's like, what are you bringing to the table? Got something new? And every now and then I'm like, Sabo, get ready. I'm throwing your fucking curveball right now. And I just like completely half time it and play some fucking obscure thing from just like, yeah, bro, I got this Lithuanian fucking like chant, you know? What are you gonna do? And then he'll do something fucking amazing. I'm like, oh shit, now it's double down on me. What am I gonna do? And it's just like we fucking love that. We love being in that, like the fire. Like we love being in the fire. It's like, throw me a curveball, bro. What do you got? And so yeah, I don't have a chemistry like that with anybody else, and I can't speak for him, but like we vibe.
We feel it.
Yeah, you can just hear it out there.
What we feel, or I'll speak for myself, and is this unadulterated joy and curiosity and play.
Totally.
Like it feels, it's infectious. Because we feel the joy that the two of you have by being together, and it's always like, shoo, lift, shoo, 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 shoo. And yeah, it's interesting that you describe it almost like Nadal and Federer, you know, just
dude, like it's seriously like two kids who broke into the fucking school gymnasium in the middle of the night and had all these things at their disposal. It's like, oh shit, nobody's here. We can do whatever the fuck we want. Like that level of excitement and just like freedom. Wow. It's like, just fuck around. And like, you know, and people somehow like accept it and they like it. It's pretty cool, you know? Wow. And actually he met his wife at one of my parties that I booked him for in the desert. Like she's one of my friends, like amazing fucking girl who ends up like now she's like his basically like his artist for Soul Selectors, and she branded this amazing art and like made this whole
shout out to Helia.
Amazing. Genius.
Yeah, genius artist.
And
she also upgraded Sabo from being a skateboard kid.
Oh, dude, like the night and day. I told him, be careful with the Middle Eastern women, bro. I know how this works. I know how this goes.
Yeah,
you ready for this? But it's like, yes, all good things. Like a lot, like there's a fire. It's a fire, man. It's the artist's curse. Like we chase the fucking fire. Well, it's okay to get burned sometimes, but like amazing things happen, you know. And like she really like turned the label into something like art. Like this she created this visual representation of what the music fucking felt in the soul. And it's just like we both have degrees in graphic design, so we all always connected on that. Like she and I was like, oh, you're a graphic designer, I'm a graphic designer too. And we both found ourselves in the middle of the fucking woods. We met in the middle of the woods when like me and my friends went to go like do an illegal party in the woods, and turned out there was another crew of people who went to do an illegal party in the woods, and we had two sound systems, and we started hanging out with each other, and we just met a random other group of people who listened to the same music as us in the middle of the freaking woods. Raving in nature. So yeah, that's Helia's story with me. And it's like, oh, the graphic designer, yeah, awesome. And she met Sabo, and and now they're married, and everything's amazing, and they have a successful label, and they're my third matchmake. So by some rules, I should get into heaven. I don't know. That's what I'm told.
You're gonna get in heaven.
Apparently, if you matchmake three couples like to marriage, like you automatically get.
Who are the other two?
Childhood friends.
Childhood friends.
Yeah, one of them was like, "Hey, bro, this girl's got a friend. You want to come with me?" And they end up getting married. That was childhood friends, yeah. So I don't want to get too cocky with it because if I believed in that whole three gets you into heaven, I'd be doing some wild shit right now, man. But I'm gonna play it safe. But yeah, no, it's like they're fucking awesome, man. It's like I love seeing their love blossom and grow, and how it affects the music and how it affects the label, and it's just like part of like again like this is it's like fucking amazing soup, you know. It's like everything's bouncing off one another at some point.
Oh, it's better.
You know where it's going, but it's it's interesting.
It's an honor to love them equally. So I love them. As a matter of fact, I met Helia before I met Sabo. So
Where was that at?
I met Helia as a designer. She was actually
she's a
one
designer.
of the first designers for One Golden Thread, designing some things. And I mean, quite honestly, I mean, it was kind of like.
Yeah, when graphic designers weren't making shit. I remember that day. My degree meant nothing.
Like that's like calling Michael Jordan in off the bench as your first.
I know, dude. She's amazing. She's amazing. She and I got very unlucky with the timing of like when we got into graphic design. It's like get this degree, starting off salary $70K a year, and it's like by the time we graduated, we're like, well, there was like a huge influx and people wanted to be in graphic design. So here's one piece of cheese. 20 of you go for it. Lower your prices, and it's like, God damn it. Yeah, we got bad. But yeah, it was a freelance gig, and so like she fucking earned her chops, man. Yeah. It's like one day you're asked to like design this thing for like this fufu brand, and then somebody's like, make me a dirty, grimy fucking logo for this like brand. So she learned how to like do. So I'm not surprised actually like for her to like do the art for yours, because I remember the art from like your early days. It's like,
I'd love to.
Yeah. She definitely had a hand in like setting like a vibe.
She set the. She set the thread in
motion. That's her magic, man.
Yeah, she was.
I mean, like, just if you look at Soul Selectors, I swear to God, after she started doing the cover art for Soul Selectors, sometimes she took a while, but the fucking result was always. I was like, is she gonna finish this artwork in time? And she hit it on the mark. And now every freaking label, I don't even want to name. There's so many labels, dozens. Like I'm going through my promo list and I'm like, oh, it's a Soul Select is really. Wait a minute, nope, it's not. Yeah. Everybody's copying her art. Everybody's trying to do like. It's just really cool to see like your friend just like, yep, she just made a sensation of like a style in this music scene, and this is so cool to be in the presence of people who are like making change. You know,
I think that's
it's really cool.
What you just said is
really cool.
Like
I never thought I'd meet the girl in like in the woods in the middle of freaking nowhere. Like this girl just changes like the art scene, electronic music. It's like pretty fucking cool, man.
And I think that's a statement that you can look around circle with everybody that you described before, and everything that you admire, and everything that we all admire, which is people that are actually like resetting the bar, resetting the bar of what creation looks like, collaboration looks like, and how we come together. So, as we begin to wind down this incredible episode of Drops of Gold. But I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you to take us in some crazy ass. You can't write this shit. I got to play here for like some story of like
story time.
Yeah, story time. Take us in story.
Put people to bed. I only know how to do that in one way, and it's through music.
Okay, great. Yeah. If you pull an instrument,
what do you want here?
Pull one of your other amazing little children.
I got something cool.
One of your 150. Yeah.
I got something cool.
Yeah, what do you want to do?
This might get a little dynamic, though.
Oh, snap. Maybe should we shut the door? Maybe shut the door.
I don't want to shut that door. I don't know if you want to shut that door. You might want something to escape. This is going to be interesting.
Whoa. Look at that. Look at how beautiful that is.
Okay. So this is like, I'm sure everybody can recognize gong, but like this is a handheld gong made by a very, very special company called Grota Sonora. It's actually the story of the company is actually like a good story. So
their showroom is in a cave.
You know them, yeah. So there's this couple in Italy. They have a freaking cave, like a legit cave, where they make like instruments. Like they just like sit in the cave and play resonant instruments. So these two, the story like they told was they were fascinated in like resonant sounds, and neither of them like had the knowledge or the know-how or the apprenticeship or the money to go and like learn how to make gongs. So the two of them just thought, fuck it, let's just try some shit. And through trial and error, learned how to make resonant instruments. and gongs. And, it's like when you think about like when you apprentice to learn something like gong making, like it's sometimes you can imagine it's like very strict rules. You do this, you don't do this, your master told you this, and then you put that on your student. They were not bound by any of that shit. So they're like, why don't we experiment? Why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? And so they got some of the fucking coolest instruments you've ever seen. So Grota Sonora, you want to check them out. Marhaba and Margarita, hello if you're seeing this. We love you. You're the best. So they're doing some pretty cool stuff. And this is one of their handheld gongs. And this thing can be done in a million different ways. Like you can actually like dip this in water and just sounds just go all over the place. But I'm going to just play a couple different like mounts on it for you and just get this like dynamic range. And I think the thing will tell a story.
Perfect.
It'll tell a story, I think. Yeah. Without my words, I've been talking enough.
It's so beautiful.
It's amazing.
So
And they make them look so goddamn cool too. My hand might get tired. I'll lay it down. Let's check out just like the.
Do you want me to hold it?
The low time. Oh, I got it.
You got it?
Yeah. Just hold it out. Wow. There we go. Okay. Let's start off with something simple. Now I'm gonna try something. Use some friction mounts on it too. Fun story, no?
I think you answered one of the questions I ask every guest, and if you want to hold that up one last time, because the question I ask each guest is, what is the sound of the golden mic drop? And I think you just shared it here in your own unique way.
If that's what it sounds to you, then that's all that matters.
That is true.
Great chatting with you, brother.
Dude, great chatting.
Thank you for having me.
Last question. Put your hand over your heart with the golden thread. This is what actually started the craziness of the mission around what does it sound like for you inside you. Put your hand over your heart with the golden thread. The one with the golden thread.
There we go.
Is I asked this same question of every single person on this social experiment journey, and every single person had their own unique answer, which really told me, and the proof point that we're each have our own snowflake, our own expression. So what does it mean to you to live life golden?
Just be inquisitive, seek knowledge, be kind, just treat each other with kindness. Stop being so hard on yourselves. Everybody's going to fuck up. Just enjoy it, man. It's all a ride. As Bill Hicks says.
And what is a self-love tip that you've discovered to tap back to that when we forget?
Stop being so fucking hard on yourselves. You're beautiful because you make mistakes.
The golden
That's what
thread.
makes us human.
The golden thread that connects us all is
inspiration, thirst for knowledge, experience, life.
I love you, brother.
Love you too, man.
It's time to upgrade your wardrobe with One Golden Thread, the brand that's redefining fashion and making a positive impact on the planet. I'm Jeff Scult, founder and designer. With One Golden Thread, you're not just buying clothes, you're planting seeds of change. And hey, because why not? Here's a first-time checkout love code from me, deeper than anything you will find elsewhere. Drops of gold. Find your sexy and soulful golden thread self at One Golden Thread. Drops of gold is your go-to code. You are golden. We are all connected as one golden thread. Thank you for joining us on Drops of Gold. We trust you found listening as delightful as we found creating. Now let me tell you, it takes a village to nourish a dream. Big shout outs to One Golden Thread for powering the pod, to co-producers Mark Shapiro, Josh Robertson, and Victory for bringing it all to life, Kat Benzova for her stunning guest portraits, and special thanks to artist Taib for featuring his electrifying new track, Departures. And infinite love to you for your curiosity and commitment to living in your highest vibrational truth. Aho! Here we grow. We are all designed to be reminded we are already golden inside. I'm Jeff Scult, wishing you a radically yes fuck yes day. Ashe.
See